And Dave, if you're ready, you can give that wheel a spin because it's time
Let's
to
give it a
pick a
spin.
Popcak, isn't it?
Here we go. It's spinning, it's spinning. It's Jacob. It's time for Jacob Popcak this morning.
All
Thanks be to
right.
God. We love our conversations with Jacob. Good morning, Jacob.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me.
Jacob, we want to, we're here in the Christmas season, about to begin the Christmas season, obviously getting ready for the Christmas season. And we want to keep our minds on Christ, right? But so much chaos and other things going on around us. What are some practical steps that we can take to keep that right focus?
No, it's a perfect question for framing, I think, the next few weeks, because as you already said, there is a ton of chaos and a ton of things to do, and I'm sort of reminded of during these seasons, Martha, right? Saint Martha, who Christ sort of lovingly chastises and says, you got to slow down. You've got to come hang out with us and separate out from your work, right? Your sister Mary has chosen the better part. Don't busy yourself with all these things. And, of course, when it comes to actually preparing for the holidays, for family visiting, for all these sorts of things, that can be easier said than done, right? It's important, though, to find ways, and I'll sort of explain what this would actually look like in a moment, but it's important to find ways, essentially, to sort of slow down and make space in the activities in order to welcome Christ, and then also sort of in order to welcome his peace. When we're hustling, when we're moving through the day, when we are just moving kind of from thing to thing based on, inertia, like you would have in a car if you stopped and your body just kept traveling forward, when we're relying on that kind of momentum to get us through things, to feel accomplished and to get the whole to-do list done, it can feel really satisfying. It can feel like we're in a flow state. But in point of fact, what we're actually doing is pretty self-destructive, because we're sending a signal via our nervous system that says that we're running away, right? Our nervous system isn't distinguishing between good running away and bad running away, good hustling and bad hustling. It's just perceiving hustling, right? And so if I am engaged in that sort of momentum-driven, gotta get things done rhythm, I am sending a signal to my nervous system that I am under threat, that there is something that I must be running away from. And in response to that signal, my body's going to start flooding me with stress hormone, right? It's going to start flooding me with adrenaline. It's going to start building me up and up and up. And so what I'm hoping when I get into that rhythm and when I'm trying to get everything done is that the result of getting all that done will give me a great sense of peace and accomplishment, right? But what it actually does is flood me with stress hormone and make me far less peaceful than I ever, thought was possible. The answer to this, as I sort of previewed, is what Christ says to Saint Martha, which is, hey, choose the better part. What I recommend on a psychological level for people is sort of a spiritual exercise where, as uncomfortable as it's going to feel, they pause in the midst of any longer task. Obviously, if you're just, moving a thing from one table to the other, you don't get to pause in the middle of that. But if it's anything even slightly longer, washing the dishes, having a conversation with a person that's lasting, 20 minutes, running an errand, I recommend taking a hard break in that for just a minute and kind of pausing with that person, if there's another person there with you, with yourself and with God, if it's just on your own, and taking a second to breathe and try to slow your system down. Try to slow how much you're moving. Try to slow how much how quickly you're speaking. If you're cooking, slow down how quickly you're chopping that carrot. And you just take that 30 seconds to a minute hard stop in the middle of the activity itself, which feels extremely unnatural, right? If you're with another person, you can even take that 30 seconds to a minute and just say, hey, I'm really enjoying our conversation, but let's just take a second together and pause it for a moment. I just love you so much, and I'm so grateful to get to talk to you here right? Basically, anything you can do to make a hard break and slow your body down and slow the kind of momentum of this conversation or this moment or this activity down just a little bit. And then you can return to it. I'm not even asking you to walk away. And, if you're washing the dishes, I'm not even asking you to dry your hands off and walk away. but to be able to stand there at the sink and just not wash something for a second and take that deep breath and try to slow your system down. And again, if there's a person there with you, to sort of validate them, that you appreciate this moment with them before returning to whatever you're doing. It makes all the difference. I jokingly call these, for those familiar with VeggieTales, this will make sense. I jokingly call these silly song with Larry moments, right? Because silly songs with Larry in the VeggieTales episodes, they always come at the height of the tension of the episode, right? And then suddenly we just take this hard break for something silly, basically to help reassure kids and make them feel okay again. And this functions exactly the same way psychologically, slowing us down and, by extension, making a little bit of room in the momentum and the stress and the chaos of our own hearts for the Holy Spirit to enter in a little bit, to enter into that relationship where I'm talking to that person, or even to enter into something as mundane as that washing dishes or cooking activity that I might otherwise just be tempted to plow through. It's a really, really beautiful, simple exercise that if I can get over that hurdle of immediate discomfort, sends that nervous signal to my whole system that actually I'm safe and okay, and allows Jesus' work to be done more effectively.
I love that, and I think, Jacob, as we get older, that just happens naturally, where we have to take breaks. I've noticed that in myself, now it's like, and it does, I wish I would have done that when I was younger, stopped, take a moment.
It's something we can all start doing today,
Yeah, exactly. And I think Dave Asherus is our Larry silly song moment.
Now, I take that as a compliment. Always my favorite character. Always my favorite time in VeggieTales, by the way. So there you go. Matches perfectly. Thank you very much, Jacob. Lord bless you. And as we approach the Christmas season, Merry Christmas to you. A little bit early. Hope Bishop Thomas is not listening. But in any case, Merry Christmas to you.
Blessings to you guys as well. Take care.
Thank you. Some great tips. And actually, probably not as difficult as it sounds like it would be. You know what I mean?